Borderline personality disorder is a mental illness that impacts your sense of self, emotional regulation, perception, and relationships. Untreated BPD can be excruciatingly painful. Emotions can be so overwhelming that you might feel paralyzed, and you'll do anything to make them stop. There can be a lot of highs and lows in relationships, but at the same time always feel like that person is going to leave you.
Oh no, screaming, crying, perfect storms. I can make all the tables turn. Rose garden filled with thorns. Keep you second guessing like, oh my god, who is she? I get drunk on jealousy, but you come back each time you leave, cause darling, I'm a nightmare, just like a daydream.
Actually, Taylor Swift wrote Blank Space from the perception that the public sees her, and even if she displays any sort of borderline traits in her songs, you can't diagnose a singer from emotional lyrics. You guys, I'm so BPD, I listen to Taylor Swift. Today we are going to be exploring TikTok and what they have to say about BPD. Obsession. Disclaimer, I obviously can't say that these people don't have BPD. They very well could, but it's just the way that it's being displayed. TikTok is known for kind of blowing everything out of proportion in the same way that if you have a cold, you're gonna do research on the internet and think that you have something terrible. The same thing kind of happens with mental illness. I definitely thought that I had BPD based on traits of BPD that I've seen literally only on TikTok.
Think you know what I need to get by. Something for your mind.
This is one of the most popular manic TikToks, which is, it feels so odd to say that, but yeah, there's manic talks. Mania and hypomania is only with bipolar disorder.
If you didn't know, I kind of started a trend about mania on TikTok. And this person wants to know, how on earth did I remember to record if I was manic? How did I do that in an extremely dangerous state? But my answer is, I don't experience mania, like regular mania. I experience hypomania because I have borderline personality disorder. Also, it wasn't like, let me record after I'm manic. It was, which I know I titled it that after the fact, but it was more like, let me finish when I look really good. And of course I thought I looked really good when I was manic, because that's a part of being manic. You think very highly of yourself. So of course I was like, I'm fucking killing it right now. But I thought I'd explain that.
In borderline personality disorder, you can have things confused with mania, such as euphoria, emotional dysregulation. But to give them the benefit of the doubt, it's a common mistake. BPD consists of a lot of highs and lows that can be confused with bipolar disorder, but referring to it as manic isn't quite correct. Also, I know this is about BPD, but a lot of people who experience mania don't necessarily know that they're manic until afterwards, and then they're like, surprised by what they had done. But definitely let me know if you have differing experiences down below. It's scary because mania has become such a watered down term. True mania or hypomania can be terrifying. You can have hospitalizations. How to tell if someone with BPD likes you. Answering right away. Putting a lot of effort into talking to you and starting conversations. Is overly nice and sees no flaws in you. I mean, yeah, I'm sure that's something a lot of people with BPD experience, but also that's also something that I also experience, like when you have a crush. Definitely, I would suggest talking to a professional, because a lot of the time BPD can be confused with things that are unfortunately normal, and they don't feel normal, but they can be. But definitely talk to your doctors. I'm not a doctor. BPD affects your entire life. This is a common phenomenon that happens among people, and it's just kind of called being blinded by love. BPD has a lot of black and white dichotomous reactions. While BPD should be normalized, as in people should respect it and have empathy towards it, I don't know quite how I feel about the self-diagnosis part about it. Maybe not, especially just because giving a very narrow portrayal can cause people to believe that they have it. BPD can and is diagnosed in teenagers. However, it's more often diagnosed in young adulthood or adulthood, because that's when you know that it's not just being a teenager. I don't know how to describe that without sounding more offensive. BPD isn't trendy. Mental illness isn't trendy. There are so many people on the internet, on TikTok even, that give great educational information about BPD. Depending on the person, BPD can be extremely debilitating. For many, it destroys almost any ability to keep relationships or friends, and you spend most of your time feeling very empty and unbearably lonely. If people blame things on their BPD on social media, it can be an explanation, but not an excuse. While emotions can change very rapidly in BPD, this kind of gives me a DID switch on camera kind of thing, but with BPD vibes. Imagine actually being able to capture when you go through these extreme emotional dysregulations. Not everyone has the ability to get a diagnosis. A lot of people see it as a privilege. The criteria for borderline personality disorder might seem simple enough, but in order to get actually diagnosed, a psychiatrist or psychologist has to understand your traumas, the patterns of your behaviors, the way you interact with other people on a long period of time, and more. Even if you think that you meet the criteria, that doesn't mean that you'll get diagnosed. BPD is one of the most misdiagnosed disorders because it's always assumed you have emotional dysregulation, unstable relationships, slap BPD on there. Emotional dysregulation is often very, very specific to trauma issues, and this is why the diagnosis is so important. A lot of people are probably able to self-diagnose themselves correctly, but then sharing it onto the internet and integrating it into your real life without taking every step that you can in order to entertain healing, I don't know. People talk about how it is an incredibly difficult and embarrassing mental illness to have, and it can ruin so many friendships with people. If you're claiming to have BPD, some people won't even want to interact with you because of the stigma around BPD already. I saw r/DID and I wasn't too happy with it, with people being under 18 who think they have it, but unfortunately it's getting to r/BPD as well. I'm sorry, you guys. You don't have BPD. You should not be on this, prove it. You're self-diagnosed. You've all but stated it outright. People like you are so harmful to those of us who actually have BPD, and it's honestly disgusting that you're trying to speak on our behalf when you don't even have this effing disorder. That doesn't mean that this person doesn't have BPD, and asking questions is totally fine, but when it comes to self-diagnosing, educating, you know, I could see how that would be helpful in a lot of circumstances, but in the mainstream, the way that these disorders are being thrown around and faked, it's just not safe anymore. Don't self-diagnose, see a therapist. Too bad. Why wouldn't you want an actual diagnosis? You can't prescribe stuff unless they actually know what's wrong with you, LOL. They can't figure me out, I'm nuts. Go see a professional for diagnosis. Never. You won't get your official BPD club card from us then. People are starting to create new disorders that are not medically recognized because it was created by a bunch of white men, the DSM. Unstable obsessional relational disorder, a medically unrecognized disorder characterized by an inability and obsessiveness in interpersonal relationships. It may present with BPD like splitting, controlling tendencies, dependency, and or feelings of superiority. It may or may not be preceded by a traumatic event. I couldn't decide if I liked bright or dull more for the flag, so you can have your pick. Endogenic BPD, favorite person. While in BPD, you can have a favorite person, it's quite common. However, it's absolutely no excuse for a lot of behavior. And giving into this concept that is a lot of the times unhealthy can be maladaptive to raising awareness of that concept. Let me know you guys' experiences and what you guys thought about this. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, turn the bell on if you're feeling risky, and comment below. It helps with the algorithm. Thank you so much to each and every one of my members. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, and goodbye.
Obsession, obsession, obsession. Obsession, all Yup.